So this is the May 2020 regular board meeting of the Arlington Community School Board of Education. Today is May 19th, 2020. Pursuant to Tennessee Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order number 34, permitting governing bodies to meet electronically in an effort to contain the spread of COVID-19, this board meeting is being held virtually. However, this meeting is being videotaped and will be available for viewing on the Arlington Community Schools website by no later than May 22nd, 2020. Ms. Gore, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lamar,
Present.
Ms. Conley, Mr. Benjamin,
Present.
Ms. Williams,
Present.
Dr. Viox,
Present.
So will you, so it looks like everyone is present on the board with the exception of Ms. Conley.
correct.
Okay, thank you. So we will move to the pledge to the flag. So if you will all stand wherever you are, place your hand over your heart and repeat after me or with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain where you are for just a moment of silence.
There she is.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Benjamin?
Yes.
Ms. Conley is on.
Okay, if you'll just note that in the record that Ms. Conley has now joined our meeting. We will move to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Well, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda so we can move this forward, at least into discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Williams. Any discussion? I have a request from the superintendent. The superintendent does recommend that we pull item 8A, approval of award of construction bid to remodel AHS C&C lab and to grant the superintendent the authority to negotiate the terms of the related contract. Superintendent has recommended that we remove item 8A from the agenda. Is there any objection to removing that from the agenda? Okay, all in favor of removing that from the agenda, say aye, and we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore?
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Aye.
Mr. Benjamin,
Aye.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Viox.
Aye.
And so that's all approved. That's a 5 vote to approve the removing that from the agenda. Also, item 8B, the superintendent has requested this to motion to approve award of construction bid to remodel AES from front office to Dan Wilkin and Associates in the amount of $157,000 and to grant superintendent the authority to negotiate the terms of the related contract. And so just to be sure, Superintendent, are you wanting to leave that on or remove that? We can just confirm that with me.
Yes, we're leaving that on. That's just the details of the information on that item because the bid came back yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I asked Ms. Gore to put the details of that bid and actually what the bid came back.
Okay, so that will be the adjustment to, we're adding Dan Walker and Associates Incorporated in the amount of $157,000 to add that to 8B. And so do I have a motion that we add that to 8B?
You don't.
I don't need a motion. Can we just add that as it comes?
That.
Okay, so we don't need a motion. General Counsel says we don't need a motion to add that. So that will just be, we'll talk about that as we get to that particular item. Any other discussion about the agenda? All right, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye, and we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore?
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Aye.
Mr. Benjamin,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Viox,
Yes.
All right, that is a 5-0 vote to approve the agenda. We will move on to reports. We'll start with Chairman's report. And so just as I don't have anything really to cover tonight in Chairman's report, since we've been in some meetings already. And so I'll just wrap that up and pass that on to Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. I just have a couple items, and then Mr. Mayo does as well. First, I just want to tell the board that the reason why I've made the recommendation to remove item 8A is not because we're not doing it, it's just that the bid came back under $100,000. As you know, the threshold for the board approval is $100,000 or more, so that's good news. We put that item on there, not sure what that bid would come back. And so that bid has come back for $83,490 for Chris Woods Construction. So just wanted to let you all know that, but it does not require board approval because of the amount of the bid. Also want to report that, and you've seen this, I sent this out to you, but remote learning ended last Friday for our students. Our teachers did a tremendous job for the 8 weeks that they were engaged in that with the students. Also, our teachers are finalizing the grades for those students that opted in to select the 3 assignments to redo to improve their third quarter grade, which was part of state board recommendation that districts allow them to do that. Graduation, you've probably seen on social media all of the different events we've had for our seniors for graduation. All of that is being compiled now in a video, and so please put on your schedules to tune in on Thursday at 7 o'clock on YouTube, and you will see all of the different events that we have done combined together, and it will look as though all the kids walked across the stage at the same time. You may know we did those one at a time over a 2-day period. So really excited about that finished product. Also on Friday, we'll be on YouTube at 7 o'clock, will be AMS's graduation for the 8th graders. So tune into that. We'll be getting the link out to, Mr. Hill will be getting the link out for viewing of those 2 items.
Hey, Superintendent, let me just jump in really quick in that and say that was just absolutely phenomenal to see all that come together and to watch, it was nice to see a glimpse behind the scenes a little bit and all the work that got done and just the videoing of it some. And it was amazing to see teachers and administrators and leadership team come together and put that together. Kudos to you and the rest of this staff.
I tell you, the high school did a yeoman's job. They did the heavy lifting in that. We had some committee meetings early on and planned it out, but they executed it. The families were very appreciative, having the opportunity to stand on stage for 10 hours and see families come one at a time with their students and how much they appreciated. They were very appreciative of the work, and the yard signs where they made the video yearbook. You saw that, as well as the drive-through when the kids actually got their graduation diploma. And so a lot of fun things. We do have scheduled for the end of July, hopefully if things allow, the senior picnic, and where they'll have an opportunity to have that, hopefully, and also sign their yearbooks. So we're hoping that they'll be able to do that.
Ms. Conley, I think Ms. Conley had something to say.
I had a question. You said that it would be on YouTube. Is that 7 p.m. tonight?
Thursday night for the high school,
Thursday.
Friday night for the middle school.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
And so that concludes my report, but Mr. Mayo has a report on staffing and open enrollment, how we've handled open enrollment virtually. Mr. Mayo?
Yeah, I just want to give you guys a quick update on staffing, and the principals have taken advantage of the time that they've had, and we're in really great shape with staffing for next year. Thus far, we've filled 26 positions, and we have only 9 vacancies left right now, and those range from some teaching positions to some teacher assistant positions. All of our what I call difficult to fill positions have been filled so far, unless we have some surprises that we're not counting on at this point. But anyway, I feel like we're in really good shape staffing wise. Open enrollment this year was a little different. It had to all be done virtually. If you'll recall, in the past, those meetings are typically handled as one-on-one meetings with every employee in the district. And this year it had to be done virtually. And the feedback that we've gotten on that has been really, really good, to the extent that we're thinking about carrying that over maybe and using that for our new hires in the future. Even if we don't use it for regular employees, using it for new teachers, because it doesn't have to be scheduled as tightly as we have to do with our onboarding. So thus far, we only have 10 employees currently that have not completed their open enrollment. So that's an excellent participation rate in that. So we're real pleased with that. And that's all that I have to share.
Thank you, Mr. Mayo, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayo. Thank you, Ms. Mason. We will move ahead to financial report. Ms. Roberts, I'm assuming, is on here with us, or who's doing that for us?
Ms. McDaniel's on. So
Okay, Ms. McDaniel.
you can give that report, please.
Yes, I will. The March 2020 financial report for the general fund, we had revenues of $36.7 million. Sorry about that. Expenditures, $29.6 million. Our nutrition fund revenues, $960,000. Expenditures, $871,000. Federal and discretionary grants, we had revenues of $1.6 million and expenditures of $1.6 million. The CIP fund, revenues of $2.9 million and expenditures of $747,000. Moving on to the Interlocal Health Benefits Plan Asset Trust Report. These figures are for February of 2020. Year-to-date revenues of $40.2 million. Year-to-date expenses, $26.9 million, with a beginning balance of $12.4 thousand, ending balance $13.3 million. And that concludes that report.
All right, thank you, Ms. McDaniel. We move ahead to TLN report. Dr. Biatz.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So really not much going on legislatively. There's been some shakeup in the Department of Education under the commissioner. You guys will remember, I think a week ago, I started emailing and texting you some of those articles that were leaked. So should be an interesting year, but nothing legislatively.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Biatz. We'll move ahead to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Williams. And I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Actually, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lamar,
Yes.
Ms. Conley, Ms. Conley,
Yes, I'm trying. I can't get the mute to go off easy.
Mr. Benjamin,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Viox.
I'm an aye for that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, board. That motion to for the consent agenda passes. Excuse me. What am I trying to say here? Lord have mercy. All right. Yeah, it passes. Just bear with me. I'm struggling tonight. All right. We'll move ahead to 7 miscellaneous budget items, and I'll turn this over to the superintendent.
Ms. McDaniel, do you want to give this report, or you want me to do it?
I'll let you do it because I do not have it in front of me.
What you have before you is the normal monthly amendment, budget amendment. As you all know, as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, You typically see a lot more movement in this. You're not seeing as much as usual, just simply because we haven't been in session. But this is our normal monthly budget. Nothing out of the ordinary. All the budget amendments are within the same categories. And so with that, it is my recommendation to approve resolution 2020-09.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation by the superintendent. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
A motion
Second.
a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore?
Mr. Lamar,
Yes.
Ms. Conley,
Yes.
Mr. Benjamin,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Vias.
Yes.
All right, the ayes, the yeses have it, and that motion passes. We will move ahead to business recommended action items. And so we have pulled item 8A from the agenda, and we all agreed to that already. So we will move to 8B. Superintendent, would you like to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yes, thank you. I know this is a project that all the board has been very anxious about. We did get our bids back for the remodel of AES, and the bids we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies that bid on that. The low bid was Dan Walker and Associates for $157,000. And so we're really excited. Once hopefully if the board passes this, then Mr. Ruff will get with them immediately, and that project will get started. And hopefully by the time school rolls around in the fall, there'll be a more secure interest at AES. So with that, it is my recommendation to award approval of a construction bid for the AES front office to Dan Walker and Associates in the amount of $157,000, and then grant the superintendent the authority to negotiate the terms of the related contract.
All right, you've heard the
Motion to
superintendent's
approve.
recommendation. We've have a motion from Mr. Viox, Dr. Viox. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Williams. Any discussion? All in favor, we'll say aye. And Ms. Gore, will you do a roll call vote?
Mr. Lamar,
Yes.
Ms. Conley,
Yes.
Mr. Benjamin,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Vias.
Well, the chairman said to say aye, so I'm going to say aye.
Hey, there you go. It's a test.
I started to.
The yes/ayes have it, and the motion passes. We will move ahead to item 8C, Superintendent.
The next item 8C is approval to purchase English and Language Arts textbook from HMH into reading for Arlington Elementary and Donaldson Elementary in the amount of $262,821. This is the new language arts textbooks for our teachers and students.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do you have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Moved by Ms. Williams
Second.
and a second by Dr. Viox. Any discussion? All in favor, we will say aye and say aye for it to get count officially. Just kidding. Ms. Gore, will you do a roll call vote?
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Aye.
Mr. Benjamin,
Aye.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Vias.
Yes. Oh, wait.
The ayes/yeses have it, and the motion is approved. We'll move ahead to 8D, Superintendent.
Next item is the purchase of English and Language Arts textbooks from McGraw-Hill for Study Sync for Arlington Middle School in the amount of $133,803.60.
Okay, you've heard this recommendation to approve from the superintendent. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move. Mr. Chairman,
A motion to approve by Ms. Conley
second.
and a second by Ms. Williams. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore. Oh, wait, Ms. Conley, Ms. Conley has some discussion before we do that.
Just a point of information for me. What is the Study Sync?
Mr. Goforth?
Study Sync is the official. It's the it was one of the vendors that was listed for English language arts from the state of Tennessee as one of their textbooks they could choose. Arlington Middle School has used that in the past, so they're familiar with that program. So they voted to go ahead and adopt and continue that program, the ELA program. What it is, it's an online program, but it's also a consumable workbook that goes along with it as well that focuses on writing. So that virtually is their English curriculum at the middle school.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Goforth. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. We will do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore.
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Aye.
Mr. Benjamin,
Aye.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Viaux.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. We move ahead to item 8E, Superintendent.
Our next item is the purchase of English and Language Arts textbooks from Pearson for my prospectus for Arlington High School in the amount of $210,547.20.
All right, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move.
A motion from Ms. Conley,
Second.
and a second from Ms. Williams. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye, and we will do a roll call vote. Ms. Gore.
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Aye.
Mr. Benjamin,
Aye.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Viaux.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Now we'll move ahead to item 8F, recommendation to approve the contract of employment between Jeff Mayo and the Arlington Community School Board of Education. Before we, should I start this with a motion, or
Yeah,
should
you
I?
need to get them.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the employment and the contract? Is that right? No, just the employment. Okay.
It's just the contract.
Okay, I'll do the contract yet. This is the contract. Yeah, we've already said that. So a motion to approve the contract between Mr. Mayo and the Arlington School Board of Education. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Williams. Do I have a second?
Second, Hugh Lamar.
Second by Mr. Lamar. Is there any discussion? So I actually am going to have some discussion on this. The board has received notification from an attorney related to this matter that I'm going to read into the record. This was sent dated May 19th today to Ms. Speakman. And so I'm going to read this into the record. Dear Ms. Speakman, please place your client on notice that I have been made aware of deliberations and other business related to the selection of Dr. Jeff Mayo as the superintendent of Arlington Community Schools, which were a probable violation of Tennessee Sunshine Law. As you know, Tennessee Sunshine Law under the Tennessee Open Meetings Act requires, among other things, that meetings of public policy and public business be transacted in public and not in secret. Your response to the request I make below and the resulting information gathered or lack thereof may lead to a challenge of the selection of Dr. Jeff or Mr. Jeff Mayo as superintendent of Arlington Community Schools, and an objection to the vote for approval of the contract related to his appointment, which is on the board's agenda tonight. Under the Tennessee Open Records Act 10-7-503 et sec, and according to Arlington Community Schools Open Records Request Policy, I, David A. Pickler, a resident of the state of Tennessee, am requesting copies of any and all records that are or should be public that relate to the selection of Dr. Jeff Mayo as the superintendent of Arlington Community Schools. Public records should include all documents, papers, electronic communications with, between, or among board members, sound recordings, or other material, regardless of physical form or characteristics, made or received pursuant to law or ordinance in connection with the transaction of the official business of the Arlington Community School Board of Education throughout its selection process for the new superintendent of Arlington Community Schools. Regards, David A. Pickler, attorney at law. So is there any discussion around this or anything around Mr. Mayo's contract of employment? All right, seeing no discussion, All those in favor of accepting the contract of employment between Mr. Mayo and the Arlington Community School Board of Education, say aye, and we will do a roll call vote.
Mr. Lamar,
Aye.
Ms. Conley,
Ms. Conley, you're muted.
she can't get the mute off.
Okay. Did we lose Ms. Conley?
She's trying to communicate. Russell,
Okay, finally
There.
got it off.
there we go. Mr. Benjamin,
Uh, I'm going to say yes.
Ms. Williams,
Aye.
Dr. Viox,
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it and the motion passes. That wraps up our business meeting agenda. And so do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Williams. And I'll second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There is none. This meeting is adjourned.